Howdy, howdy, everybody. It's Drinker and
Hello.
Mauler. Yay, we've got Mauler back. He's
I'm
fully
live.
recovered now. And he's ready to party hard with the rest of us.
Yes.
We missed you on Open Bar, sir. It was tough to get by without you.
Oh, you were fine. I saw there was rantings being had about certain shows that I hadn't even seen, so I was like, as long as everything went well.
We kind of turned Reaper loose on True Detective season 4, and I just sat back for like the next 10 minutes and let him go. It was fantastic to watch. I had no idea how bad it was because I knew very little about that show beyond the fact that it was getting panned by everyone, but I didn't really understand why. And then when he explained it, wow, that was impressively bad. So
all I know is Jodie Foster's in it, right? That's it.
Yeah. Like 65-year-old Jodie Foster is still a frontline police officer, apparently, in True Detective world. So yeah, I was totally bought into that. Sounds plausible. But anyway, on the night, we did get a whole bunch of questions, and those questions came in the form of super chats, and here we are, ready to plow through them. So let's see if we can do our best. Jordan Pendragon says, which Golden Age Hollywood director or actor or composer would you want to resurrect to appear in a modern film, or vice versa? A modern actor transported back to appear in a 1940s black and white picture, etc. Intriguing. I don't know. Can we pick someone like Sidney Lumet to be resurrected and make films today?
I mean, I'd love to see a Hitchcock horror made with everything he has access to and the limits he doesn't have today.
That's
in his
true.
prime.
Yeah, Hitchcock. He could definitely do it. Could we transport someone back? I would transport Pedro Pascal back to like the 1920s and leave him there.
I was going to say, you're not going to watch anything he makes. You're just like,
no, just put him there. Just so I can get a break from him for a while. Good Lord.
We were asked to like do casting. We were doing a super chat catch up, and it was cast the Lord of the Rings seriously, like a recast seriously, and then crazy, and then cringe. And so for like serious, it would be like, Charles Dance Saruman, and then it's like cringe or crazy might be like Danny DeVito Saruman. And it's funny, we were doing a cringe cast for Aragorn. We were like Pedro Pascal.
Oh,
it would be like if you threw him in, he'd just be like, really?
Could you imagine? It doesn't quite embody the heroic masculinity that I would look for in Aragorn, but
it's just the fact that it would be like Chris Pratt is Frodo or some shit. You'd be like, what is why? Like, what?
Nick Cage is Gollum. Metal Demon says, why do you all think that the executives attack fans? They can't really be that delusional, right? Right. If only that were true. It seems like they are, yeah. I don't know if you saw that Disney leaked internal memo where like you've just got a Disney executive going off on the fans yet again. Like they don't appreciate the genius of what we do. And when people ask for good movies, it's just code for make them more racist, apparently. So it makes sense. It explains their thinking a lot.
Yeah, I don't know. The fact that they'll say what they'll say publicly, like imagine what goes on behind closed doors in terms of what they say.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Aurora Uplinks. I want Tarantino and Lucas to make Star Wars a Kill Bill-style 9-film saga with scummy crime lords hiring corrupt Jedi, space battles, and big army fights. I mean, sure. Like, I wouldn't associate Tarantino with like epic space adventures, but man, for him to do like some, like you described there, like a low-level crime lord kind of story on a obscure planet. Just throwing a bunch of aliens and stuff and maybe a rogue Mandalorian or something like that. You could have fun with that for sure. It'd be right up his alley. Ginger Rhino. If Die Hard 3 was made today, McClane's sign would have just said, all lives matter. I'm sure there's an edit of that actually where it's like, instead of, I hate the obvious from the movie, it's like, I hate Tuesdays or something. Like they just tried to make it the most bland thing imaginable.
Tuesdays.
Something like that. It's probably so they can show it on airlines, that sort of thing, The Big Dog says, spending my birthday in the open bar. I mean, where else could you spend it? Really, it's the perfect place.
It is.
Murcielago Al says, can you say purple burglar alarm? Yes, I can. That was a Lemmy sketch, I'm sure.
I'm trying to beat you up with that all the time, but you got him every time. In fact, you're getting better and better at it.
Every time I crush it, because I can read it in advance and be like, okay, Drinker, you got this.
There I go.
Say the words. Burger alarm. John JD says, when are you going to do an Iron Claw movie review? Well, it's funny you should ask that, actually. I'm going to do it tomorrow, literally tomorrow. I only just saw the movie like a few days ago, so like we had to wait a while to get it here in the UK.
Sneak peek. Do you recommend?
I do recommend, yes. It's very good. Not sure it's quite a drinker recommends, but it's definitely a solid like biopic movie. Very well done.
Cool.
Margie M says, oh, she just gave us a super sticker, actually. Thank you very much. Avarith says, Drinker, I think you missed the super chats last week from before the stream started. I sent mine hours before during the premiere. Oh, that's odd. Because normally...
Do they not count them?
They
like
should.
in the... YouTube's a dick with all that. It actually... I was talking to ads about it at some point. It's just like how much YouTube makes it difficult for us to be able to look at what people are saying to us is absolutely fucking insane.
Because normally what I click on is the stream activity tab when I've got the live stream studio open. And that's great because it shows you every new super chat as it comes in. And normally that's the way to do it because then you don't generally miss them. There's another way where you can just go on a separate tab and bring up just a list of all super chats that have come in like ever. But it requires you to manually refresh it constantly, and you have to like scroll backwards and forwards, and it's just a real pain in the arse to use.
Doesn't the earn menu or whatever? It doesn't show you messages sent with memberships. So
no, it doesn't. No, that's why again another reason why I bring up the stream or the user activities tab because it shows me all of that. Like even when a new member's joined, which it seems like you can't have the best of both worlds. There's always got to be a drawback with YouTube. So. Man, I'm really sorry if I missed a super chat that you sent before the stream. I deeply apologize, and I will try to find it in that case. Big Dave K says, "Who did the rockin' intro song for your stream?" That's a channel called Guitar 86. He's still active, still producing songs, and good guy. I've hit him up to try and get him to do like an intro for Last Orders and for Happy Hour. If he's willing to do it, obviously I'll compensate him for it, but. I like his stuff, and I would like to have the same guy do the theme songs for all three, streams because there'll be a bit of like continuity there. So hopefully we'll get some more cool stuff in the future.
Hell yeah.
Slip de Garçon says, just wishing Waller a speedy recovery. Hope the lorgy doesn't spread to his tentacles.
Oh, we're good. We're all fine.
Yay.
Infection contained.
Yeah. Chernobog says, I take back my previous recommend. Louder milk sucks. Okay. Damn. Norman Baroud says, Daredevil, best show ever, Critical Drinker and Dark Hour. Daredevil was really good. That is true. It's probably the best thing that Marvel have made. And they didn't even make it, really. It was Netflix. Maximilian Millerick says, question for everyone. If you could take a movie or TV series about anything, what would you want it to be about, and who would you want for the director, and who would be the stars? It's pretty broad.
So
Pick a film or a TV show about anything. What's that?
Just complete freedom. I don't know.
I want a Predator movie set in World War I about a bunch of troops who have to fight trench warfare against predators. There you go. And it'd be directed by me. And it would star Pedro Pascal as everyone. That would be my pick.
I don't know, like complete freedom. I would try and rescue a franchise, I guess. Maybe Star Wars.
Always with the Star Wars, eh?
A little bit, yeah.
Maximilian Milrick says, if you could have any three superpowers, what would they be? Mine would be gravity, string, and time manipulation. Damn. How does one manipulate string? I don't know. I guess my pick, I'd like to turn invisible, fire lightning bolts out of my eyes, and talk to animals. But I feel like that one would be super disappointing. Like, you can talk to them, and then they turn out to be dumb as fuck. And you're like, oh, your banter is not very good, man. I kind of regret this power. Oh, shit, I've lost my place here. Yeah, Michael Batty says, Welshie, looking at the Reddit forums in regards to playing Dark Souls, and I've seen several people recommend playing Demon Souls first. What are your thoughts?
I'm assuming me because he said Welshie, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm not familiar enough with Demon Souls to say, but my impression is that Dark Souls is already difficult enough to get into for a lot of people for the first time, and so Demon Souls being even more difficult to understand, as far as I'm aware, can be something that might put people off. So I don't know. It just seems to me like the recommendation surely is Dark Souls as opposed to Demon. But ask Metal, see what he says. He knows stuff.
Maximilian also asks, if you guys were a sandwich, what would you be? And if you guys were a drink, what would you be? I'm going to answer the drink one. I would be a Negroni because I'd be hard, cold, and bitter, just like
I'd
me.
be a Long Island iced tea.
Perfect. Sandwich? Would you have a preference?
I don't know.
Not to eat, but to be.
A foot long Subway or something.
It'd have to be 2 foot long at least. A long man indeed. Creed S says, Drinker, I think a big factor in your success has been your brand identity. I'm curious to what steps you have taken as a YouTuber to protect the name The Critical Drinker. Did you trademark it? No, I don't think I can do that. I don't know, man. People know who I am, so I guess they're going to find me if they want to.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like I need to trademark or anything. The Critical Drinker. I don't think I even can do that if I wanted to. But thank you very much. Axel's Abode says, with these trailers and interviews, when does something like false advertising become a thing? Only I see on Cinema Score, people didn't get what they thought. I assume that's referring to Madam Web. I don't know. I mean, like the job of trailers has always been to promote movies and show you the best aspects of them, get you pumped to watch it. I don't think you can really do much about false advertising, like unless they show you things that are just, the bulk of the footage from them is just blatantly not in the movie. I suppose then that would come under like, I don't know, trade descriptions or something.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's like, yeah, you can't really blame them for just producing a good trailer that's better than the actual film. Like it happens all the fucking time, sadly.
All the time.
Professor Chaos, which takes the claim as worst Marvel movie, Morbius or Madam Web? Ooh.
Worst Marvel movie? Oh, right, yeah, I guess.
Sorry, it's the Marvel name, but not made by them.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, they're not even the worst Marvel movie as far as those two. But out of those two, I haven't seen Morbius, so I wouldn't even be able to say.
I think with Madam Web, you can at least laugh at how shit it is. Like, there's an element of like fun to be had there, whereas with Morbius, it was so just bleakly shit.
I'm gonna have to take your word on that, okay? It's pretty memeable, but maybe it's not. The movie itself is not actually memeable.
It's not. No, it's like it's got isolated moments of memeability, but the rest of it is just really like downcast and just bleak and self-important,
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Madam Web almost is just so ridiculous you can laugh at the whole thing. Death Judas says Sydney Sweeney would be an awesome black cat. Sydney Sweeney would be an awesome many things, I think
everyone, probably including Sydney Sweeney, is waiting for them to use her correctly in the coming superhero films, next era, whatever it may be.
Yeah. I think she's very aware of her talents, and she's more than happy to make use of them, and I say good on her.
Yeah.
Dr. Quagsire says, Part 1, good day, gents. Wanted to say, great EFAP yesterday. Chris Stuckman's transformation was very saddening and funny what he ended up becoming.
I mean, try not to be too tragic about it. It's sort of like I always see it as cautionary tales. It's like, what do we learn from this? It's like, try not to get so far up your own ass that, like, you pull up the ladder from everyone else and try to, like... It's so funny to think you can sit there. It would be like if Drinker said, I'm doing a big old series on, I don't know, God of War. I'm going to play all of them. I'm going to do videos on all of them. And then I'm like, oh, that sounds awesome, dude. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, that's great. Thumbs up. And then in just one of my videos, I'm like, I wouldn't do a series on God of War because that's just like sad.
Yeah.
And it'd be like, hi, hello? Like he's friends with so many people that are doing the thing that he's saying you should not do. It's kind of crazy. And then, like none of that's going to get addressed ever. And like all of his friends, if they were to be asked, like, what do you think of Chris's new? They'd be like, yeah, it's just his opinion that he's saying he just doesn't want to bash movies or whatever. That's totally fine. And it's like he sees it as a moral thing. He's like, that would be judging you guys. None of you care? Did none of you talk to him? And I was like, oh wait, of course none of them talk to him. Like,
I mean, I guess it's the self-importance of it all as well.
Absolutely.
Attempt to elevate himself above everyone else. Like, I'm a filmmaker, don't you know? And that means I've ascended to a higher level of understanding. Don't worry, plebs. I will take care of you.
I feel like I had an understanding that making films was difficult from before I hit double digits in age. I seriously don't understand this attitude that you have to be on a film set to know it.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the classic argument of like, I don't need to be a plumber to know that my toilet's clogged up with shit. You know,
I saw
it's
T2 when I was super young, and I remember asking my dad how they did basically everything in that film, and even he was just like, "I don't know, son. I don't fucking know."
I don't fucking know.
I remember seeing the behind the scenes for its makeup. You know, the sequence where all those guys shoot him at the like lobby in Cyberdyne,
Yes.
and just the gradual layers and layers and layers. There's really great behind the scenes shit about that. And I remember seeing Ani say like, "Oh, here's another day just sitting here for like 8 hours while they do all my makeup," and I was like, "Fucking hell,
Yeah.
that's like longer than school."
You know, like now he would just be slapped with like green paint, and it's like, we'll just like CGI this in post.
Don't
It'll
remind
look
me.
great. I think legit one of my favorite sequences is the one that's not even in the theatrical release, where they have to remove the chip from inside his head so that they can reset the switch on it. And my God, the thought and work that went into that from a practical effects point of view is just unbelievable.
Yeah, it's cool as fuck.
Just bringing in Linda Hamilton's twin sister so they could have a fake mirror. I mean, Jesus.
We were watching, me and a friend watched an episode of Buffy recently with a character who has it's one of those like magical, they get doubled sort of things. And they were like, "This is too good. That's a twin." And I was like, "Yes, it is." Like, there's just sometimes like no way you could get it looking that fucking great without it being a twin.
Yep. He also says, wanted to also give props to Gundam for his X-Men video. Question, is there a cartoon that has its quality drop like this X-Men one? Cheers. I mean, yeah, probably like Masters of the Universe would be a good example.
Yeah, that's. I think that's it. I think you've answered that question so well. There's no point in even coming up with another one.
Fair dues. Nailed it. Paz Two Wheels says, new Guy Ritchie film with Cavill and Richardson. Yes. I'm excited. Hopefully it'll be good. I really hope it's good, actually. Rated M says, if you haven't seen it yet, check out Sora AI. It's probably going to be the future of independent projects slowly killing Hollywood. It's an interesting one. I mean, it feels like it's very tech demo-y at the moment, and wow, this stuff all just looks conveniently amazing that it's been producing. Be interesting to see it in action and see how flexible it really is. But potentially, yeah, this could open up all kinds of avenues for people. Even if it's just for doing, say, sequences in a film. Like the rest of it's shot with actors, but then you've got like, say, a special effects sequence like air combat or something like that you want to do, and this thing could render it for you. That's pretty awesome. And yeah, once people, average filmmakers with limited budgets, have got access to this kind of technology, wow, yeah, hopefully you're going to see an explosion of creativity and, independent projects that look professionally done, that look amazing. That's the hope. Needhoger says, Drinker, guess what? If you don't start watching Black Sails, I'll go to your house and drink all your whiskey. No!
Oh my God.
Don't ever say that. Kim Bob says, Hail, I was wondering what all your favorite soundtracks are. Can be from a movie, a show, or a game. Also, I saw Ailstorm and Sabaton. Drinker. Jelly. Very nice. Not really jelly, because I'm going to see Ailstorm next weekend. So I'm very excited about that. They're playing Glasgow. Favorite soundtracks? We've been asked this many times, I think, like favorite composers and that sort of thing. Yeah, love the soundtrack for Aliens, Terminator 2. Ones that really stick in my head. Most of the Star Trek movies, actually, the original ones, I think the soundtracks perfectly capture like the majesty of what you're seeing on screen, usually anyway.
Yeah.
And yeah, Indiana Jones, perfect. John Williams, nailed it. Trying to think of really good Hans Zimmer ones, because he's like the quintessential music composer. Yeah. I mean, the Gladiator theme was amazing. Give that.
I love Interstellar's soundtrack. It's like my favorite part of the film.
Yep. There it is. Editman says, the writers of Madam Web wrote Morbius, Gods of Egypt, The Last Witch Hunter, starring Vin Diesel, and Dracula Untold, and Toast. Great cast. Yeah. Well, I mean, they're consistent, at least. I'll say that for them. Justin Martin says, hello, everybody. What the heck is going on with Danny DeVito's bottom half behind Dark Hour? Only Dark Hour can answer that one, sadly. Lord Toxic says, love seeing Dark Hour. Have you seen Land of Bad? Blue Collar Loser and I did a review, a great palate cleanse. You should have Stupenzo on. He's hilarious. Well, thank you for the recommendation. Mr. Innocent says, hopefully they won't find the Maximum Clonage saga. Well, who knows? They might. What's the next one? John Kelsey gave us a super sticker, I think. Maximilian says, does the philosophy of a memorable hero needs a memorable villain still hold today? I mean, I don't think it's 100% essential, but like really a hero is defined by the strength of the adversaries that they overcome. And so you don't give them a good villain, then you haven't given them a challenge. You haven't given them a chance to prove themselves. So I think it's definitely helpful in developing a good hero to have a great villain to balance them out.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like, that sounds like a challenge, doesn't it? It's like, how do you have a hero with nothing, like a really good, inspiring hero with nothing but shit and ineffectual and non-principled villains? Is that possible? Yeah. It's like, Could Starship Troopers count as that? I guess they're not. They are formidable though, the bugs. So
they are, and their strength is just in their sheer numbers as well. They're more of a force of nature, and I'm not sure I'd choose Rico as a great hero either.
No, I'm thinking of Radchak, you know.
Oh, Radchak's beautiful, yeah.
I mean, you know, Rico, I mean, he's heroic. He does things, he does the right thing, you know.
He gets there. He shoots a lot of bugs. So, yeah. I mean, that's good. I suppose Zim's the real hero of it since he captures the brain.
True.
Mr. Isle says, why do you guys dislike Chris Stuckman? Take it away, Mauler.
Well, we did an EFAB, if you guys want to see it. The person who said that recently, where we go over just some of his recent stuff. I've always found that he started reviewing stuff so early that people like believed that he had a lot of insight on cinema, but that everything you hear him say is some of the most of it you can read off the IMDb. It's really sad. Like, his insight is never present. The most he ever has to say that's of interest is the stuff that you catch, you know, your average Channel Awesome video saying back in the day, which is just like, oh my God, I don't like this because of this, or this. And you'd be like, okay, well, he's got the studio insight now because he makes short films. It's like, what have you learned from him about the production of films? Oftentimes he'll tell you about something in a vague way, like, oh, it was tough because we had shooting schedules that were just, you know, so rough to make sure we nailed it. And, you know, there's a lot of people involved and, you know, all this different stuff. And you're just like, okay. Like it would just be like if I said I have insight into paintball if I went paintballing once. It's like, I guess so. I just don't feel like I heard much from him, and it reminds me of his reviews, which I've always found frustrating, and it's captured perfectly by his Haunting of Hill House review back when he did it, where it's like a 4.5-minute video, and most of it is just talking about how Mike Flanagan made it. Yeah, it's like, Mike Flanagan's great. I really like Mike Flanagan. It's like, that's so awesome, dude. Can you maybe talk about like why the show is so amazing and everyone should see it?
Yeah, I mean, it's like his reviews are the ultimate example of just getting stuck in a rut where it's like zero effort, just go through the same motions every time, just reel off the same production information, give the same bland milquetoast non-review, and then tell everyone to get Stuckmanized and then leave and collect like 500,000 views for it.
If someone then said, you know, oh, okay, so do you think that just a review of Hill House in 5 minutes is impossible? I'd be like, I feel like if Drinker did it, he'd probably be able to do it. It's the information that you get in 5 minutes can be a lot, or it can be nothing.
Well, I think if I had to do it, at the very least, I would say the things that I really cared about and that mattered to me. You know, if I had to condense it into that, like, I could probably do it, but at least it would come across like I actually cared about this thing I was talking about. I wasn't just
consider that a open challenge.
Yeah, I suppose I've not done Hill House actually.
Yeah, you never did, you little bitch.
Shall I do that then? I'll do it as a challenge, like a strict 5-minute time limit.
What was his length exactly? So you can't go over his, otherwise that's cheating. Hill House.
Tell me what I've got to work with here.
You have exactly 4 minutes and 28 seconds maximum.
Oh, come on. I thought I had 5. Okay.
4 minutes and 28 seconds. You're going to have to put something at the end to let people know why.
I'll do that disclaimer at the beginning. Just, you know, so people
This was a fucking challenge by Mauler or some stupid thing.
Yeah. I'm just going to record it at normal speed and then play it back at like 1.5 or something. Get more time out of it. All right. EC90 says Madam Web is so bad that never mind Stuckman, even Movie Bob has avoided talking about it. He's got no review of it at all. He reviews every Kate movie ever. Oh no, Movie Bob didn't talk about it. What a shame.
Should probably mention as well.
That dude seems to have literally vanished off the internet. Nobody seems to talk about him anymore. He just seems to be a bit of a non-entity.
There's only so many times you can threaten killing people before people get tired of you. I was going to say, on top of all of that, by the way, mentioned about Chris, the recent stuff is just that he's basically said like we shouldn't make fun of movies anymore, which is just like, oh God, go away.
Yeah, like please don't make fun of my movie. Isaiah S says, real talk, what are the chances of talking with Campia? John Campia? I mean, probably not high.
Probably not high.
I don't even feel like I'd want to talk to him. Like, I don't feel like I'd have a productive conversation with the guy. Intelligent Crayon Eater says Borderlands trailer came out and it's trash fire. The two lead actresses are 30 years older than the characters from the games, and the de-aging is jarringly bad. The cherry on top is Kevin Hart as a 6 foot, 250-pound stoic merc. Yeah, that was a weird choice. Everything's weird about that trailer, actually. I do not get it at all. Yeah, and this is coming from a guy who's only played and completed one of the Borderlands games, so, even I was like, this seems weird. Darth Karadhras says, Drinker, you've introed me to so many awesome guests on Open Bar. It's a Gundam, Voxus Productions, Mauler, and EFAP. Can't wait to check out these folks. Yes.
Wow. Yeah.
This guy called Mauler, you might want to look at him. He's up and coming,
We'll say the Open Bar is quite a good place for networking, You come across all kinds of people.
Yeah. I mean, we try to bring in as many new people as we can, so give people a nice variation. Hikira says 10 million subscribers. Woo! That's Tyrone's one. Sander Brand says Margot Robbie versus Sydney Sweeney. I would choose Sydney. Discuss. I would too, actually, if I had to choose.
So for me, I worry that Sydney, I don't know if she's got a brain on her shoulders. I know Margot Robbie does.
I don't fucking care, man. When she looks like that, doesn't matter.
Fine. There you go. We're happy now because I'll have one, you have the other. There you go.
Yeah,
it all worked out. That's how it works.
Margot, Sydney, hit us up. We'll take you on a date sometime.
Yeah.
But you're paying because you're richer than me. J.H. Swalbach says Sydney Sweeney as a proper Supergirl, just like in the Batman animated series, where she crashes into the bay in New York, then walks around nude and found by Batman, and then wears the cheerleader skirt with the low-cut top costume. Damn, you've put a lot of thought into this one.
They want it to happen.
You're not saying anything I disagree with, so okay. Tomato Truck says, speaking of long movies, we watched Gone with the Wind, the first 2 hours anyway for my birthday, and damn, man, now that is proper storytelling. What do you guys think of that old classic? So the last time I watched Gone with the Wind, I think I was about 16. It's been a very long time. But yeah, I mean, in terms of epic storytelling, really covering like the whole of the Civil War and shit, like it's pretty incredible.
It's been so long, I can't say much about it. I need to rewatch it.
After like the third hour, I did start to flag a little bit. Like it's a slog. I think it's well north of 4 hours, so it's a hell of a movie. But yeah, I guess for grand epic romance and drama, you can't really beat it. Blue Team Epsilon says, good to see another open bar. 2 questions. How many catastrophic flops do you think will happen this year? And are you a fan of the Ghibli films? I love the Ghibli films. Yeah, I actually own 4 of them on DVD, I think, at the moment. I need to get all of them.
Pretty reliable.
Yes, yeah. And this is from a total anime normie as well, so they must have something special. How many catastrophic flops do you think are going to happen this year? Interesting, because they've scaled back a lot of movies. We're not going to get really any Marvel films apart from Deadpool 3, and I think that's going to do fine.
Like, surely it's going to start winding down eventually, because like money's not infinite.
No, exactly. I keep saying this. Yeah, exactly. I'm just looking here to see what we can expect. Kraven the Hunter, and that's probably going to flop. Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, I suspect it's going to be shit, but I think it'll do well. What else have we got coming
What is
up?
how did Afterlife do? Do you know what the box office on that
The
was?
box office, I think it was good. Sorry. Let's see. So, oh, that can't be right. Oh, that's terrible.
Oh, really?
Yeah, 204 million.
Budget or that was box office?
That was the box office. Yeah. Oh, that's disastrous.
What was the
I mean,
budget?
it only cost 75 million, so it's so if you take a 3 times multiplier, it might have just about broken even. Sorry, but yeah, I thought it did way better than that. Wow. Okay. Maybe this won't do well because if it's coming off the back of a relative flop, then that doesn't bode well.
That's interesting. I'm surprised they went through with the next one. Maybe they already had before. You know, like in terms of legal stuff, that the Frozen Empire was already in the works as Afterlife was coming out. I don't know.
I think Dune will be fine because there seems to be a lot of hype around that movie, way more so than the first film. So I think that's probably going to do pretty well at the cinema.
I'm curious if the delay is going to have helped it in the sense that people the notion of getting back to real movies is seemingly getting more and more potent in regular people. I wonder how
Hopefully,
much
yeah.
of a difference that will make.
At the other end of the spectrum, Godzilla versus Kong, the new empire. Sounds like it's going to be shit, and it's going to probably flop. Abigail, Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. The jury's out on that one. Like, I hope it does well, but I feel like that's a film that could go either way. No idea whether it'll be successful or not.
Mm-hmm.
The Fall Guy. I mean, that's Ryan Gosling, so he's probably riding high right now. I think it's probably got a good chance of doing well. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, a sequel that nobody fucking asked for. Dubious there. Furiosa. I mean, Anya Taylor-Joy's pretty reliable, but man, again, it feels like a movie that we didn't really want or need. Yeah, what else? Bike Riders, A Quiet Place, Day One, a fucking prequel. No. Yeah, there's a lot of sequels this year. Despicable Me 4.
I suppose that's every
Kung
year.
Fu Panda 4, whatever. Twisters? What the fuck? All right, it's a sequel to. Oh God, why? Why?
Isn't that funny? That one, the Twister sequel is Twisters. Like, you got to be fucking gross. Like, come on.
Alien Romulus. This one baffles me. Absolutely baffles me.
Why?
Just why are they making it? Nobody wants this.
Because I don't know. Alien, Predator, and Terminator. They're in this really weird wheel that just spins forever. They all get their turn. To be fair, I think everybody's already fucking reset on Alien to the point where they're like, yeah, I mean, maybe it'll be good. And maybe it will be, Drinker.
Well, who am I to say? It says it's going to follow a group of young people on a distant world who find themselves in a confrontation with the most terrifying form of life in the universe. The fucking...
I know, right? What's funny about it is I can't believe, like, imagine telling me this back in, like, 2000 or something. At least Ridley Scott's not making it.
Yeah, speaking of which, he's doing Gladiator 2 instead.
That's funny.
I saw a great little interview with Russell Crowe where he just snapped at some reporters asking him about that, and he's like, I should be getting paid to promote this movie because the amount of times I've answered questions about this fucking film, and I'm not even in it. I'm fucking dead. He's like... He's so irate about it. Oh yeah, fuck man, it honestly doesn't look like a promising year in cinema. So many sequels that nobody wants. Yeah, I feel like Dune 2 and probably Dune 2 we do want that. I mean that's fair enough, but
yeah,
Dune 2 and Deadpool 3 are probably the only ones that I'm kind of excited for. The rest, fucking hell, is weak. So what's the next one? Intelligent Crayon Eater. Recommend Masters of the Air. Current episodes 5 are great. Real stakes, tension, and pathos. Episode 3 and 5 are the best when they get you to care about the crew that you don't know the names of, but the show gets you invested in their survival. It does a very good job of that, yeah. I just watched episode 6. That's one of those quieter episodes. I'm hopefully going to be talking about it shortly on Lance's channel. See how long we take to get finished with this, but yeah, I've been enjoying talking about it. Lost77 says, any comments or thoughts on the Borderlands trailer? I want to like it, but the casting is really weird and I'm having a hard time coping. I'm in the same position.
Yeah, I don't know. That one looks a bit overcooked, that one.
Yep. John Everett, I took my nephew to Madam Web at a 10 o'clock showing, told him I rented the theatre out for us. After no one came in, he thought I was serious. Should I tell him the truth or stay the coolest uncle for a while longer? Yeah, don't ever tell him.
Does that make you a cool uncle? Cleared out the whole cinema for Madam Web. It's like, thanks.
I mean, did he look at like he wanted to punch you afterwards? Like, I can't believe you took me to see this shit film.
Yeah.
Nelson Charita says, like making the Terminator an interior decorator. I'm not sure what that was a reference to at the time in the conversation, but yeah, that was a choice. That was definitely a choice that they made for Dark Fate. Probably one they shouldn't have made. Robert Kearney says, hail Gore, the rest of the panel as well, and of course the drinker. Thank you. Mikey Angelo, Madam Lesbian review in Tyrone's voice. Just a big old piece of trash. There we go. It really was. Oliver Levery Farag says, I don't understand how Hollywood budgets have gotten so big. I hope that someone is embezzling the money because that's the only thing that makes sense. True, yeah, and I hope they spend it on something really nice at the very least. It would be better that.
You turn up and you see Madam Web, and then you see the people who are like funding it. And you're like, you embezzled something, right? Please tell me you embezzled something.
Yeah. It's like, no, we put every penny into this production. It's the best.
What's wrong with
you? Mikey Angelo says Lizzo playing her Beskar flute while twerking on Gideon is the highlight of the Mandalorian season 3. In my honest opinion, overall, I'd give it a 2. I think you're being generous. OMG Puppies. Herbert's son wrote some of the prequels to Dune that were much better than I expected. In particular, his Machine War trilogy would make interesting films. Yeah, that's fair play. I'd be interested in seeing that aspect of it. The Butlerian jihad and all that. Darth Racer says, George did state that he made Star Wars for 12-year-old boys, but it had enough compelling story elements to bring adults in. Basically, Jay Campbell's A Hero's Journey. I saw it as an adult and was hooked. Yeah, fair play, I think.
I don't even know. That quote gets used for all kinds of crazy shit in terms of point making. When if someone told you like, oh, The Incredibles, that was made for like 8-year-olds to enjoy, I'd be like, okay.
Yeah, but like back then
awesome
they probably credited 12-year-old boys with more intelligence than they credit 40-year-old men now.
That's true.
That's the difference, you know. That's why you had slightly higher standards of filmmaking.
Dude, that film was wild. Like, a superhero gets sued because he stops someone from committing suicide.
Yeah.
I love Incredibles.
Mikey Angelo, we ready for your next sermon on the Mount Chris? Absolutely. Hatchet says, just saw on IMDb that there's a page for Dune Part 3. Makes sense. Hope it happens. Godzilla says, wait, so it's a comedy? You make it sound great. I think he's talking about season 4 of True Detective. I mean, it sounds hilarious the way he described it. Paul Stramby says, Paramount botched Halo when they chose an unfaithful TV adaptation. Some of the best stories told today come from video games. I hope someone gets smart and develops a show from Red Dead Redemption. That'd be nice, but I just wouldn't trust them to do it now. Aurora Uplinks, Star Wars film. An evil world, some of the vilest humans in the galaxy send diplomats to the Republic to engage in trade, but what lies underneath the offer? Okay.
Yeah.
Pooty Evans says, put a ghost in it and make it lame and retarded. It's a good summary. Justin Hudson Guitar says, I get the DCU is probably DOA, but I'm still holding out hope for the Batman 2. There's a good writer attached to the project and Madison Tomlin to rein in Reeves' script-wise. I'm only 50-50 on Joker 2. Yeah, I'm the same way. I mean, Chris Gore really seems to have faith in it, but fuck, man, I don't know. It's going to be like the biggest disappointment ever, considering what it came off the back of.
I'm so desperate for it to surprise me. Please.
Yes. A guy under a bridge says, I half expect to see the next apology video include Disney mascots standing just behind the sod so you don't see the revolver between their shoulders. Cabe Rockstar says, have you seen the epic Mickey rebrush trailer? And if so, what did you think about it? I haven't seen that. No, what the hell's that?
I have not seen it either, so I can't say.
Okay. Scottish Lion says Black people going to Africa is like me going to Scotland because of Braveheart. Also, first-time comments will have a shot on me. Thank you. I will definitely do that as soon as I'm done here. And yeah, it's weird. It was weird the effect that Black Panther had on so many people.
It's kind of dead now, isn't it? As like an IP almost, because not just being attached to the MCU, but Wakanda Forever just like who really cared about it.
Well, yeah, exactly. It's like seeing a guy that you knew from high school who was cool as fuck, and now he's like a middle-aged, fat, bald guy who's still trying to believe that he's got it. You know, it's tarnishes the memory. Bomber44 says, I'd like a good adaptation of Siphon Filter. That was pretty cool game back in the day. Maximilian says, question for everyone. If you could make a movie or TV series about anything, what would it be about, and who would you want for director, and who would be the stars? I think you've asked that one already, actually. Yeah, we did that. Star Trekker says, Spider-Man in the Spartacus verse. I'm Spider-Man. No, I'm Spider-Man. No, I'm Spider-Man. Too many Spider-Man. I know. I'm Miles Morales.
There you go.
Perfect solution. Stephen Alvarez says, Mary Sue's can work if done correctly. Some of the best comedies have Mary Sue's. Naked Gun, for example. Is Frank Drebin a Mary Sue?
The problem is down to definition. This is like the whole reason I don't use Mary Sue anymore. Is that everyone has a different definition. There's a serious list of accolades. That's the word I was looking for. That loads of people different, and some people bake into Mary Sue as like they're badly written characters. So to say like it's a well-written Mary Sue is an impossibility by some definitions. So as long as you tell me what you mean, like you can have a well-written character who is basically unstoppable in all scenarios. I'd be like, yeah, that's possible.
I mean, it's a pretty tenuous scenario where that's going to work because
there's loads.
Not
of
only is it just
ways
physically
it could be ruined.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just the fact that they're unstoppable in say confrontations. It's like they have to have a flawless personality as well, like just altruistic, perfect at everything. And man, when you're working with that, where do you go as a character? Like, how do you give them an arc?
Have you seen One Punch Man?
You can't just nerf them. You can't just take stuff away from them and make them have to regain it. That's just cheating.
Have you seen One Punch Man?
No, I know you've talked about it.
I think you'd like it a lot.
I would go on the assumption that he can kill anyone with one punch, and so he's physically unstoppable. But maybe he's not always a good person, or he doesn't know how to control that power.
The main thing the show does, and I think they do it really well, is he's not great like socially. He's fine. He's kind of normal, but he gets into awkward situations every once in a while because of difficult things and then misunderstandings. And you know, they like for example, right, a meteor is heading to the city, and he gets out there and punches it, and it destroys the entire thing. And at first, he's like, "I did it. I saved the world." And then a meteor shower just rains on the city and just destroys it. And he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry." It's the funniest shit. And you know, it's a very engaging story, even though he's if you pay attention, you watch any fight he's having and you're like, so he's gonna win this one. And it's like, yeah. And I feel like it's an answer to a hypothetical. How do you make that fun and interesting still? No, and there's drama in it. It's not just comedy.
No, I should watch it sometime. I'll make the time. Edgy the Hedgy says, the media is eternal. You can always rewatch it, but the experience is fleeting as we can never rewatch something for the first time until we invent mind wiping, that is. But yeah, you're true. It's very true. First impressions, you only get to make one. Snex says, always thought a cool video game would be a Metroid film shot in hardcore Henry style through Samus's eyes. That would be cool as fuck, actually. The reveal at the end could be quite well handled, just in a mirror or something. Cam Dominus Rex said, did you ever watch Vikings on the History Channel? Travis Fimmel's Ragnar might be my favorite character ever in a show. I've seen bits and pieces of Vikings, never watched it all the way through. Apparently, it's generally meant to be really good. Until they did Valhalla, and then they introduced Black Vikings for some reason, so that all got a bit weird. But yeah, must give it some chance to watch sometime. Mizit Wizard says, posted a sexy AI picture of Rogue with a nice butt on Twitter last night when I couldn't sleep. I get home from work and it's got over 7,000 likes. X-Men 97 really has people nostalgic for Rogue's old dunk a dunk. It's sad, man. I've loved those pictures where it's like never forget what they took from us, and you've just got Rogue with her fucking flat ass. Like, why do they hate female characters so much? Like, they have to just draw them as men. It's
Hey, men
tragic.
don't always have flat asses.
That's true. Tom Holland's looked fantastic in that Spider-Man outfit. Yeah, man, it's just fuck it. Yeah, I think the Final Fantasy VII ones are just doing great at the moment. You know, all those images of Tifa in the bikini and stuff.
I saw someone say they made Tifa hotter. Emergency meeting, like they made Tifa hotter.
Yeah. Well, it's just great where it's like, you know, Final Fantasy VII remade for Western audiences, and they take that shitty, like, you know, some of the ugliest characters that they produced in recent years and just CGI them onto her face. It's just bad stuff. Simlex says, "Hey, Drinker, I'm having a blind date with Mr. Brown next week. Any tips?" Well, go armed, because you never know how those dates are going to pan out. So make sure you got a weapon of some kind to defend yourself. Changer of Ways says, "Henry Cavill was the best we never had." Very true. One day you'll find a role that actually suits him. Colin the Cyan says, "What do you think of Mike Flanagan adapting Stephen King's Dark Tower for Amazon? I can't wait for Prime to overtake Disney with this and Warhammer." I mean, potentially it could be great, yeah.
I think what's so funny about, I'm like one of the bigger Mike Flanagan fans that there are. Give him original stuff. I don't think he's particularly suited for adapting because he doesn't care about source material most of the time. And I'm not even saying that in a way that's like, you know, what a bastard. Like, he usually tries to explain his logic, and he does sometimes tries to go faithfully or spiritually, you know, not like ruining the point of the thing that he's adapting. But at the same time, it's like, why bother at that point? Like, you know, like the RoboCop game. It's like, oh, that to me gives evidence that the people who made that should suit well for adapting other things. Mike Flanagan's Haunting of Hill House tells me, especially when, you know, checking out people's perspectives on it, like, he should have just made a fucking haunted house thing. He didn't need to adapt the Haunting of Hill House.
Stand by for my 4-minute and 28-second review.
Well, and you know, because like as you know, with the House of Usher stuff, like, people were very split on what he did to Poe's work. I have a friend who said he ruined Poe's work, and I was like, oh, okay. Like,
I mean, it's such an interesting one, because I never saw it as attempting to be a faithful adaptation of any of Poe's work. It just took inspiration from it. It took elements from so many of his works and meshed them all together into this combined story, I suppose.
I get you. Yeah, I want more stuff from him. I don't necessarily, like, I don't think, oh, I can't wait to see Mike Flanagan's version of whatever.
I suppose it's just my instinct where it's like, oh, finally, we've got a filmmaker who's pretty competent and really seems to put a lot of thought and care into his work. It's like, just apply him to everything. Like, I want him to fix everything simultaneously, you know?
Well, you know what? Maybe this is a bit selfish because you can't put him everywhere, but it would be really cool if he took over Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Do you know that he's expressed interest in that? He's like, he'd like to do some Doctor Who stuff.
Oh, God. Imagine it. I just don't feel like there's any hope for Doctor Who, not with the people who own it.
No,
you know, it needs combined unholy like duality of like Disney and BBC. Like, Jesus Christ.
It's got that same problem that a lot of these have, where you need to clean house. It's like,
yes,
Star Wars doesn't get saved by replacing Dave Filoni with, you know, Joe Blogs or something. It's like, that's not going to do it, I don't think.
Yeah. The Amazon as well, they are a fucking weird studio. When I think about their creative output, like, you get shows like Terminal List and Reacher, which are pretty based and like just old-fashioned, you know, kind of heroic, you know, action movie storytelling. The kind of stuff you would have got all the time, like 20 years ago. Now it's an absolute rarity, but they're just churning it out. But then you get things like Rings of Power and Halo, and it's just, where are they going with it? Like, how do they have such weird, you know, swaying backwards and forwards between garbage and like ideologically driven stuff and just normal things that they're able to produce? I don't get where they're coming from as a studio.
Maybe this will all make sense way, way, way down the line. Like, we'll get someone that reveals everything about all of this crazy shit that's happened.
One can hope. Like
aliens.
I think so. The Javiator says, "Can't wait for Twister 3 and Twister Resurrection." I sure. Mega Spidey-Man, favorite Bond villain and why? Scaramanga for me, pure class.
I love Alec Trebek, right?
Trevelyan.
Trevelyan, sorry. I'm thinking of
Someone very different.
see, my brain is not fully healed yet.
Yeah.
Yes. So obviously, what I love about the idea of a disenfranchised 00 agent, right? Like that's cool as shit. Not that they
Yes.
didn't do that. Didn't they try that in Skyfall? Isn't that what Javier Bardem's character
Yeah.
is?
So yeah, same idea.
Yeah, but obviously,
Yeah, this is a guy who's like a physical match for Bond, an intellectual match for him. He is just like the anti-Bond, I guess.
and he knows the way Bond operates because he had the exact same shit, so I can
Yep.
get to him quite well. Yeah, I find shit like that really interesting. But I'm obviously fond of like the crazier, more wacky, silly Bond villains as well.
Yeah.
Odd Job's fuck cool, okay?
Yeah, I was thinking about Goldfinger, just like
Yeah.
how over the top he is, and yeah, like that great scene where Bond's about to get like cut in half by the laser beam, and it's brilliant because like he doesn't have really anything to work with. He's got no like out really, and you get that classic line, "Do you expect me to talk?" And Goldfinger's like, "No, I just expect you to die." Like
it's
I'm not here
actually subversive, that line.
Yes,
Like
I'm not here to interrogate you. I just literally want to kill you. And Bond has to really like. He used to use this like smattering of knowledge that he's got about Goldfinger's plans to try and bluff his way out of it. It's a neat little setup. Yeah, I like that. And yeah, I suppose Blofeld would be a fairly obvious one. The original Blofeld, not the shitty new one that we got. I always liked as well the villain from The Spy Who Loved Me. It's oh Christ. I'm going to have to look him up. His name. He's like his plan is to basically kill everyone on the surface of the earth and then start a new civilization under the sea. And it was Kurt Jurgens who played him. I'm going to have to look him up.
Sure, his name wasn't Andrew Ryan.
Yeah. Where is it again? Yeah, Kurt Jurgens. So Stromberg. That's the one. Yeah. Yeah, I loved it because like when Bond finally kills him, he doesn't do anything like really witty or clever, and there's no like poetic end for him or anything. He just fucking straight out shoots him. Like really cold-bloodedly, like just guns him down. I just thought it was such a nice way for especially for a Roger Moore movie. Like he's normally quite quippy and stuff, and in this one he's just like, no, I just want to fucking kill you now. I just thought it was unexpected. Gyro Barrios says they're adding Peacemaker to Mortal Kombat 1. I've seen Suicide Squad and liked him there. Is the show worth watching? Yeah, I think Peacemaker's not bad. You'll get a laugh out of it at least.
Yeah, I mean, ranking it alongside like the state of superhero content, it's got to be the higher ranker stuff for sure.
I think so, yeah. And John Cena was a real surprise. I think he carried it off pretty well. He's funny. He definitely got flair for comedy when he's used properly. And yeah, I thought it was good fun. Stephen Jordan says, I'm a huge Rick Baker and Rob Bottin fan. The Thing and American Werewolf in London made me love horror movies. CGI is not scary for movies nowadays. Do you think we'll ever go back to the good old days? I assume you mean like practical effects and stuff. I hope we do, but I suspect we probably won't because the industry just seems to be too enmeshed in it. But yeah, when you see that transformation scene in American Werewolf, like incredible, all done with practical. Love it. And Don Max says, Arnold Schwarzenegger has a lot of classic movies in his acting career, but what do you think was the last great Schwarzenegger movie? Might be True Lies. That's 1994, I think.
Yeah, I mean, that's a tough thing to answer. I'd have to check the whole, because that's great. It's like, yeah, there hasn't been one for a long time.
No. Batman and Robin obviously was excellent, possibly the highlight of his career, but
yeah, obviously.
He probably peaked with Terminator 2. That was like, I think the summit of his career. He's like the coolest motherfucker on the planet when he did that. Had a big flop with Last Action Hero. Yeah. And then True Lies kind of recovered it to some extent. It was very much like playing it safe. Like, okay, pair me up with like a director that I've worked with loads of times before and really knows how to get the best out of me. He did that. And then there was just loads of forgettable action movies in the 90s, like Eraser and stuff. End of Days, all that garbage.
End of Days came after his his heart surgery, didn't it? That was his
It
routine.
did, yeah. And then nothing really in the 2000s that I would care to like remember. You know, and that's sad to think. Like it's been like 30 years probably since he's had a really good movie. I don't think
Nowadays,
any
it's
more out
more
of
of
him.
it's just cool to just see him around. It's like
Just
you know.
yeah, nice to see him out and about doing things. But yeah, the time of like an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie being good, those days are past now. It's just like a meme, I suppose, when you see him. And I think he's just kind of embraced the meme to some degree. But that was the last of our super chats.
Well,
We made it, and thank you everyone. Thanks for sending so many generous questions, generous super chats, and asking us so many good questions. Appreciate it as always, and I hope you enjoyed the open bar. And you can catch us on the next one. But for now, we're done, and that's it. So go away now.
bye.